Alright. Fuck. Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite, or Mike. I am Michael Cole, here with Tony Schiavone and with Taz. And today on Dynamite, or Mike, we understand that Astronomer, the matchmaker and main overseer of the TWF, has just got an oversight from the TWF Board of Overseers and from the foresetter of the TWF, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. We'll hear from Astronomer here today, and she's going to come out now. Well, first, we're going to hear from her, Michael Cole says, and what's this big thing? Well, first off, Taz says, the first thing I want to say, you're right, Michael Cole. I understand something big is going to happen here today on Dynamite, or Mite, the first Dynamite or Mite of 2023 YL, Tony Schiavone said. It should be good. Well, somehow, some way, Taz says, Astronomer has been the main matchmaker and main overseer of the TWF ever since 2021 YL. And she's only been doing this for at least one year so far, where Adam Pearce has been doing it for 3 years and Shawn Michaels not even a full year yet. Well, here comes Johnny Nergato now, Taz says. And I heard a lot of good things about him, about all this cool stuff he did when he was in WWE, both on NXT and then on Raw. But now we're going to see what he can do in the TWF. Hi, I'm Johnny Nergato, sometimes known as Johnny Wrestling. And I know I've done a lot of stuff. I was in I was in NWA and MLW. I was also in OVW. I was in EPW. You know, I was all these many other wrestling businesses before I got to WWE. Yeah, I'm a former WWE NXT heavyweight fighter, a former WWE NXT tag team fighter, a former 3-time WWE NXT North New World fighter. On my first run in WWE, I was on NXT. My 2-4 run in WWE, I'm on Raw now. But now I'm here in the TWF too. And I hear that something good is going to happen. Some good winning is going to happen. And I can't yield for whatever that's going to be. Johnny Nergato, or should we call you Johnny Wrestling? The only thing that's going to happen is my new buyer is going to beat the shit out of you. That's the only thing that's going to happen. Do you mean Killer? You mean that Hasbro G.I. Joe doll that we got from the New World Thrift Middle like many years ago? I am not talking about Killer, that Hasbro G.I. Joe doll that we got from the New World Thrift Middle. I'm talking about the man who Killer was just being a stead holder for. Omos the Big. So Omos, what do you think about being in a TWF? I can't get ready to beat the shit out of folks. And don't forget, Johnny Nergato, you may have won every winnings there was to win in WWE on NXT. You may have won winnings in many other wrestling businesses. But Omos is a former WWE Raw tag team fighter. And there ain't no way no one's going to beat Omos without some luck. So Johnny Nergato, if you want to fall to the Nigerious big man, my new buyer, Omos. Well, don't you have 3 buyers? Don't you got Killer and Bobby Lashley? Aren't you starting to stretch yourself thin like Paulie dangerously does? He's got Roman Reigns, Jason Uso, James Uso, and Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. He's got what? Amora? Yeah, I ain't stretching myself thin like Paulie dangerously does. I only got free buyers. Free shoppers. Killer, Bobby Lashley, and Omos. Now. Look, Astronema says, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are not fighting each other. Well, I mean, you are, but that ain't not until I'm done. You see, you're right, Astronema says. The TWF is bringing back a winnings that was withdrawn earlier last year, but is now coming back. That is the TWF YouTube winnings. And I know it was held by Brody Lee and Bo Peep before it was withdrawn. But we're thinking we should bring that one back. It didn't get a decent good run. So Johnny Nargato, you and Omos are going to be fighting for the TWF YouTube winnings here today on Dynamite. Or might, Astronema says. And guess what, Ecliptor says? I don't want any of you folks to get any thoughts about of what you are or are not going to do. You see, Astronema might be the nearest thing that we have to Adam Pearce and Shawn Michaels and TWF. The nearest thing to Scott D'Amore in a TWF, or Al Snow in a TWF, or God forbid Anthony Kong in a TWF. So, you either take it or not. Look, alright, Ecliptor. I didn't want to start anything, and I'm not the one starting anything, Johnny Nargato says. I'm just out here minding my own business. Out comes Montel Vertadius Porter. Out comes Omos. We gonna have any hang up, Ecliptor says. Well, let me tell you something, Astronema says. You better hope that Omos is under good behavior. And you better hope that all he does is only have matches and fights. He starts the bullshit he did when he was in WWE. He ain't gonna last that long, Astronema says. And also, Montel Vertadius Porter, if that is your true name or not. I don't think your buyer, Killer, would be too happy to hear that you just fired him and you now have Omos taking his stead. Hey, I didn't say anything about firing Killer. I was just on putting to my list of buyers. Killer, Omos, Bobby Lashley, like Paulie dangerously does. Yeah, well, he clipped oh yeah, Elgar says. Tell that to Killer when he sees you. That you didn't say he was a stead holder for Omos. Alright, Astronema says. It's time to get the match started. Let's go. Well, we just heard from Astronema that the TWF YouTube winnings will be back, Michael Cole says, and it is back now. Who will be the one to win it? Will it be Omos or will it be Johnny Nargato? And Johnny Nargato thought he had everything under running lead, Michael Cole says, and Omos is just beating him up right now. Well, Tony Schiavone said, it's very hard to match the might of big men in this skilled wrestling, Michael Cole. Very few men can do it. And Omos is outstanding. He can do things that most big men should not be skilled to do but can. Beating him is very rare. Oh! Well, Taz says, you're saying something right about Omos. He is in WWE. He was on Raw. Then he was later on off. Then he was then, still on. He was first the doorkeeper for Raw Underground before teaming up with AJ Styles, before taking on Montel Ricadius Porter as his buyer. But I think Johnny Gargano, or Johnny Wrestling, I think that he is about dead, Taz says. Very few small men can beat big men. Johnny Gargano, drop kicked and took down Omos. Will Johnny Gargano be the man to beat Omos here? Johnny Gargano down on Omos. Montel Ricadius Porter can't believe it, Taz says. He can't believe it. He can't believe it. He can't believe it. That he can't believe that his man. Oh, here he is. He can't believe that one of his buyers, one of his shoppers, is just going to take a loss. Look out, it's Killer. Killer showed up now. Johnny Gargano just, took Killer down. Michael Cole said, look out, Tony Schiavone said, the takedown. I told you, Taz said, Killer and Omos make a great team. And now we got a new TWF YouTube fighter. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner and the new TWF YouTube fighter, Omos. And now Omos and Killer seem to be Omos and Killer, who seem to be, I guess, on the same team. And I wonder if Montel Ricadius Porter is going to have a hang-up with those two. Looks like Omos and Killer are looking at each other. I don't want to be Montel Ricadius Porter when these two get into a fight, Michael Cole says. Yeah, Tony Schiavone said, it's like when Big Van Vader and Yokozuna started having their hang-ups. And James Lee Cornette was still their overseer at the time. Omos is like, no, Killer, Omos, you're on the same team. You're both my shoppers. I don't need this breaking down into nothing. I don't need a fight happening. I don't need some fight happening. Did you just call me a stakeholder? Killer said, for this walking slide of shit. Watch who you're calling a walking slide of shit, Omos says. I can break you in half. Omos says. We don't need this. We got Jamie Noble in the ring now. Montel Ricadius Porter took the fall. We know wakefulness would do it. Would do it. We got the Stronghold Keeper in the ring now too, to make sure this thing doesn't get out of run and lead. To make scene this thing doesn't get out of run and lead here. And now we got Ernest P. Worrell in the ring now. And it looks like Killer and Omos are just going to back down. Because Astronema doesn't need this show breaking into madness at all. Doesn't need this show breaking into a madness. Road follower Jimmy Noble, road follower Ernest P. Worrell coming out with the head Stronghold Keeper. Astronema sent them out to make scene that this show would not break into madness. Michael Cole says. Good thing, Tony Schiavone said. The one thing we don't want we don't need is this show breaking down into madness. We already have enough of that happening. You know, in the shows, you know, having that happen in shows over the years. But I understand now Gorilla Monsoon now is now going to be talking with the new TWF. Well, Taz said, we don't need a show breaking down into madness, Michael Cole said. No, we do not, Tony Schiavone says. Well, Taz says, we don't need that happening. But I would like to see those two fight. Alright, Michael Cole, Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with Montel Rotadius Porter and Omos. Gorilla Monsoon, I am half man, half wonderful. And I'm happy to say that Omos is a new TWF YouTube fighter. So he is, Montel Rotadius Porter. I heard there was a bind between Killer and Omos. Everything's being smoothed out, Gorilla Monsoon. There is no hang-up between me and Omos and Killer and Bobby Lashley. You know, I'm not going to let what happened between Yokozuna and Big Van Vader, with James E. Cornette being fired by firing Yokozuna, and then Big Van Vader not getting along with him, was led to, you know, one firing the other. Well, the way I looked at it, I believed it was Gorilla Monsoon. I believed it was Yokozuna who fired James E. Cornette. James E. Cornette couldn't have a handle on Big Van Vader, either Yokozuna. They didn't like each other. And if I recall, Big Van Vader beat you up when you were the four-setter, David. Anyway, I just want to say that Omos and Killer will not have the same hang-up that happened between CM Punk and Brock Lesnar and Big Van Vader and Yokozuna. Omos, you see yourself as a big man, Gorilla Monsoon, when you were a wrestler. But even I was bigger than you. Yeah, and I saw Andre, and the Giant Gonzalez, and Giant Silva, and Big Show. I was around and I saw them. I saw Diesel and The Undertaker, and they're big men in their own right. So was Kang. Omos, I even saw Kurgan. To tell you, you are a big man. Is there any bond between you and Killer? Unless Killer makes something between us, I don't think there is. Well, that's my talk with Montel Rotadius Porter and Omos. Back to you, Michael Cole and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Montel Rotadius Porter and with Omos here today on Dynamite. Or Might. That's all the time we got here for Dynamite or Might. I am Michael Cole for Tony Schiavone and Taz. We hope you like Dynamite or Might, and we'll see you tomorrow for see you tomorrow on Impact on Access TV or Smash and Inside Farseer.